Hi everyone. In recent years it's become quite popular to have laminate floors or tiles, especially downstairs in a house. And whilst these are hard wearing, they're smart and they're easy to clean, what effect do this have on our dogs? And we're not just talking greyhounds here, we're talking any dog, any breed, any age. When I used to teach yoga, I tended to use the example of trying to walk on an icy pavement to give people an opportunity to imagine what it's like to be walking on a slippery surface. You know that feeling when you're heading for a bus early in the morning in the winter and there could be black ice on the pavement. You just don't know with every step whether you're going to be walking or sliding over. And that can bring a lot of anxiety as well as muscular tension. This is going to apply to our dogs just as it does to us. And if they have long nails or they have fluffy feet, it could be even worse. They might seem fine at first on your laminate floor, but I've met dogs who've had one bad experience, one nasty slip, and as a result, they won't walk on that floor at all anymore. You could find that your dog becomes anxious about getting out of their bed or walking across the floor. If they won't come into a certain room that has a laminate floor, could it be because they're nervous of that floor? You could find they develop muscular pain from the tension needed to hold their limbs, and that can in itself lead to them feeling a bit grumpy, same as it might with us. You could get joint injuries if they do slide or slip on the floor. They could get bruises if they slip into something, and there could be back pain from trying not to fall over and walk safely. When they're on a slippery surface, it's also hard for them to move their limbs naturally because they don't have the grip on the floor. So they could end up walking with stiff legs, which reduces the range of movement in the joint and adds more muscular tension. If your dog has any old injuries, then trying to walk on a laminate floor could aggravate those. So for example, in the case of an ex-racing greyhound who has a wrist injury or has had some muscle damage somewhere, or perhaps even something more serious such as tendon damage or a broken limb, they could find that these conditions are made worse or aggravated by trying to walk on laminate floors and slipping or trying not to slip. Older dogs may struggle more than younger dogs because they have less muscle tone, and if they have arthritis, this can lead to muscle loss, which just makes the situation get even worse, and it's harder for them to stop slipping if they don't have the muscles. Their joints may be stiffer as well, and small repetitive injuries in the joints and in the muscles can lead to scarring, which makes the muscle stiffer, and the whole thing just gets worse and worse. So key areas that might cause problems are going to be if the dog gets on and off anything raised, such as a sofa or a raised bed. If they're jumping on or off to a slippery surface, they're more likely to slip. Going up and down stairs when they get to the bottom and they come onto a laminate floor in a hallway, that could be a greater opportunity for sliding. And of course they might run into the room and just skid across the floor. To find out more about real life problems coping with laminate floors, I went to meet another volunteer at Greyhound Trust Hall Green, Lauren Hurst. Let's hear what Lauren had to say.
Some laminate flooring put down initially. Well, when we moved into this house, it had wall-to-wall carpet throughout downstairs, and upstairs as well. And one of our greyhounds was getting on a bit in years, and he started having accidents, and it was getting really hard to keep the carpet clean. So, and it was, it was an old carpet as well. So we decided that we were going to get some sort of laminate type flooring because it would be easier to keep clean. So we got all the carpet up, and I thought, let's get something. I looked at laminates, and some of them are very, very smooth. And I knew that because of the greyhounds, that really need something with a bit of texture. So I did a lot of research into what was the best thing to get, and settled on a vinyl. And there's a well-known brand that has their factory showroom in Redditch. That's where they manufacture it. So I piled my 3 greyhounds into the car, We tootled off to Redditch, and I asked the chap in the showroom, it's a huge place, if I could bring the dogs in and test for different textures. And he said yes, which was really kind of them. So I had my 3 greyhounds, and we walked on various floors, and we settled on the one, this one. It's like an oak effect, but it has a slightly raised grain.
Right.
And I thought, great, and they walked on it beautifully, nicely, no slipping and sliding. I thought, great, that's the one for us.
And then when they put it down, what we do?
Yeah. So it was definitely easy to clean. That's that bit was quite successful. But when I realised that it's fine while the dogs are walking, but the minute they start to scramble, either get excited about going out for a walk or seeing something in the garden, they just slipped and slided all over the place. And what they also do is they tend to get their claws out, so it's almost like walking on ice.
Yes, so they're trying to grip.
Yeah, they're trying to grip, and it makes it just 10 times worse. And the other thing that happened with Jasper, who was probably 13 at that point, and like many greyhounds, the back end sort of gets all wobbly, and we came home from work one day, and he had done the splits, and he was on the floor, and he couldn't get out. There was nothing to get any traction. So that, right, okay, we're going to have to get some mats.
Yes.
So again, I did a bit of research about what sort of mats to get, and I mean the other thing, of course, is the when they come in from the garden, when it's muddy, there's muddy paw prints everywhere, even though it's easy to clean.
Yeah, constantly cleaning.
Cleaning, yeah. So we again got some mats that are rubber backed, and they're like a cotton sort of content on the top, and you can bung them in the washing machine.
Perfect.
So there's certain brands that one of them that is used a lot on boats, which absorbs the moisture, etc., etc. So we bought some of those and just made like little stepping stones throughout the house, and that was quite successful.
As a demonstration of the skittering feet.
So even, as you can see, even though we do have the mats in the house, when they do go charging about, obviously because it's not wall to wall, they still can slip and slide, but obviously not as much as if there was no mats at all.
And do the mats stay in place?
With the rubber backing they do. The first set of mats that we bought was a bit of cheaper version. And they were fine to start with, but of course because they're washable and they go in the dryer, and it's important that you put them in the dryer because then that fluffs them up. So it's a bit like a towel, and makes the absorbency better. Is that the rubber backing starts to degrade?
So do you think that was the heat from the dryer that damaged it?
Yeah. So I mean, they lasted for quite a while. I mean, I got my money's worth. But when we went to replace, then they started slipping and sliding. So when we went to replace them, I bought a sort of a bit of a more sturdy brand, and so far they seem to be really quite successful. They don't slip and slide at all, which is really important. Particularly, we've got a mat at the bottom of the stairs because the dogs come charging down the stairs, and it's really they need a landing pad. So they don't slip and slide.
Well, they're going to be headbutting your front door, aren't they?
Or worse,
doing the splits.
So as you can see, looking after your laminate floors and your dog's safety can take a little bit of work. Key things to remember are to keep their nails short with regular clipping if they don't wear down naturally from walking on hard surfaces. Wipe up any spills promptly because wet floors are slippier. And place mats by entrances and exits just in case of the dog coming in with wet paws and then slipping on the floor. You also want to dry their paws after walks before they walk on that laminate flooring or tiled floor. And for many dogs, you're going to need to think about mats or runners to provide them with a safe surface to walk on, especially in high-risk areas like the bottom of the stairs or in front of the sofa if they use the furniture to sleep on. We need to make sure that mats are non-slip, so you could buy ones with a rubber backing. You could add a non-slip underlay, Or you could buy grippers that will stick into the corners of your mats and secure them to the floor. That will stop them slipping when the dog comes running into the room. So I hope you found that helpful today. A bit of an overview on living with your greyhound with a slippery floor. And we'll be back again soon with more videos for you. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out.